understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Hey,
Why do you panic?
The way you, Papa, you know Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty
Watch Johnny's bite.
Bismillahir Rahman Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Friday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. I want to say thank you to Sonar Fashions in Tamale for my outfit this morning. 0246 590 162. At 0246 590 162. You reach out to them and you can get something special for yourself. But this morning, I want to address something that I have had a couple of concerns about and reports about. So I had to go and fish out a document and I had to black out the details. Please show me the DVLA document. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority. This, I've had to black out all the details because it could be traceable. And you know how sometimes we are vindictive in this country. People have a genuine issue. You talk about it. The details are out there. The next time they go and say, come out Johnny Hughes. No, even me, sometimes people accost me like that. But then in the end, they say, oh, well, the thing you said was actually the truth. But you know, you could have come to see us, so we sort it. You sort what out? We won't sort anything out. If you do the right thing, we'll talk about it. If you do what is wrong, we'll talk about it. This is a document from the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority. Now, in this instance, somebody went there to alter or change the details on the document. You know that when you have a driver's license, you have to renew at least every 2 years. 2 years after you acquire it. It's stated on the back of the driver's license so you can see it. My understanding is that when you have to renew your driver's license, it will cost you 81 Ghana cedis. Please write the figure down. 81 Ghana cedis. And then you have to do a mandatory eye test to be sure that your eyes are very okay for 50 Ghana cedis. So 81 Ghana cedis plus 50 Ghana cedis will give you 131 cedis. Now, on this particular form, if you look down where the other accessories are, you find 1, amendment of record, 2, information search, 3, service charge, 4, particulars. And I had to black out. This was just on the 9th of October 2024, and Chebia is a fresh document. Now, if you want to do any of these 4 things, either you want to amend your records because you moved from house number A to house number B, so you used to be in a rented apartment, now you've gone to your own residence, you want to alter or amend your record, you have to pay 135 cedis. And I mentioned that to renew your license is 81 Ghana cedis plus a mandatory 50 Ghana cedis eye test. So why is DVLA charging us for that, which is 131 cedis, and charging us 135 cedis just for us to be able to amend our record or to be able to find some information or be able to a certain service charge or particulars? Why? If I walk to my bank, ADB, and I tell them that I have moved from house 1 to house 2, and I want to amend my record so that it reflects the true situation, ADB will not take money from me. And I'm sure many other institutions will not take money from people. So why does the DVLA, when you're going to renew your license, they take 81 cedis plus 50 cedis mandatory. If you put it together, it's 131. But then when you want to alter your record, just so that the state can get your actual record, they charge you 135 cedis. Why? So, for example, in this, the shambolic SIM card registration, re-registration that we did, because after we did all of that, the scammers still have opportunity to get your number. You still get messages that you are not looking forward to. and we say we have done SIM card registration, SIM card re-registration, and people lost their numbers because of that, and yet the system is porous and scammers can still call you. Wasted money for nothing. Even that one. So if I had gone to register, and in the early days when people go and re-register their details and they come back, sometimes it doesn't reflect, and a lot of people lost their numbers because of that. If I had lost my telephone number that I used to acquire the driver's license, and then I come to DVL and I say, oh, I have lost that number, so I want to amend my records to reflect the new number that I have, so that if DVLA wants to reach me, I am reachable. DVLA says, pay 130, show the receipt again, pay 135 Ghana cedis. And I say the process of either acquiring or renewing your license for the whole period of 2 years is 131 cedis. Why is DVLA charging 135 cedis? And who is collecting that money? And where is that money going? And what is that money being used for? We must join our voices to ask DVLA. We must join our voices to ask DVLA this very simple question. That where is the money going? Who is taking the money? We must join our voices to ask DVLA. So, Mr. Buzia, good morning to you. Why 135 cedis just for me to amend my record, to do an information search, service charge, or to my particulars? Why? Why is it much more expensive than trying to renew my license? Why?
FM 92.
And I'm sure that a lot of drivers have had this bottled up for a long time, but they can't say it. So we have to say it for the drivers. A lot of drivers have had this bottled up, but they can't say it. Good morning to the DVLA people. Now let's go to the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission of the Republic of Ghana has a love letter for all of us. And it is regarding the printing of ballot sheets. The Electoral Commission insists that the information that is out there that ballot sheets printing have begun is actually inaccurate. So I will read the love letter to you, or we'll read it together. This is dated the 10th of October 2024. Mind you, today, the Catholic Church, the Catholic Archdiocese, they are doing a walk and a prayer, and they'll present a petition to the presidency of Galamsey. Let's see if the presidency will allow the Catholic Church. If the presidency allows the Catholic Church to get to the Jubilee House to present the petition, then we know that we, the ordinary citizens, who maybe are not Christians, are being discriminated against by our own government. Printing of 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections ballot papers. The Electoral Commission has taken note of some statements in the public domain to the effect that the Commission has not provided ballot statistics ahead of the printing of ballot papers for the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. We would like to assure the general public that printing of ballot papers has not commenced. Printing of notices of poll for the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, however, begins on Friday, the 11th of October 2024. As has always been the case, the Commission will provide ballot statistics to the candidates of political parties and all printing houses before the printing of ballot papers starts. Printing of ballot papers will only commence after ballot statistics have been provided to all stakeholders. The Commission will not depart from this practice. We urge the public and all stakeholders to trust the Electoral Commission to deliver transparent, credible, free and fair elections in December 2024, signed by Samuel Tete's Deputy Chairman, Operations. And he says we should trust him. But he came back in a press release to tell us that the same trust that he asked us to give the Electoral Commission in 2016 was supervised an election that had trees and plants in it. And he, as Samuel Tete, as boss of electoral services of the Electoral Commission, then saw the trees, he saw the animals, he saw the plants, he said nothing about it. He assured us that everything was credible. And then he comes back in 2024 to tell us that, oh, if you are complaining about the register now, the register in 2016, which was used to elect Nanado, which election was declared in favor of Nanado, had trees and plants and animals in it. But this is the same man asking you to trust him. I leave that to your good judgment. Please trust him. Now, Mr. Musa Dankwa made a statement. And oftentimes when you're on social media or when you're on traditional media, they tell you, oh, you have to be neutral. You have to be neutral. Something comes out, you say, oh, you have to be neutral. You have to be neutral. Are you not the journalist? You have to be neutral. You have to be neutral. Are you not a civil society organization? You have to be neutral. And then you ask yourself, define what neutrality means. And my good friend Manasseh Azuri, he has a quote that he says, if the elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse and you claim neutrality, then you are not neutral. If the elephant, as big as it is, has its foot, its giant foot, on the tail of a mouse, and you say, oh, as for me, I am neutral. You are seeing the mouse suffer under the feet of the elephant. And you say, oh, as for me, I am neutral.
2.7.
What is the use of your neutrality? What is the use of your neutrality? Neutrality means that you cannot take a stance. This is Musa Dankwa. He says, we must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, not the tormented. Let's read him together. He says, we must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. If tomorrow today's oppressor becomes the oppressed, speak for them too. That is principles. And that is why, keep it there, that's why I've been worried that some people who said certain things in the past, I showed you a tweet about my colleague Kojo Ponkruma. He said certain things about Galamsey in the past. What has he said today? He said certain things about Galamsey in the past. The situation has become worse than what he complained about. What has he said today? Dr. Bawumia said certain things about the economy, about the exchange rate in the past. What has he said today? Yaosafo Mafwe said certain things about the economy, about whatever in the past. What has he said today? Yofi Grant about the past. What has he said today? Sankuma thinks about the past. What has he said today? There are many names that you can mention. They said things in the past. Kenoforia Tal, they said things in the past. What have they said today? That is what Mr. Dankwa says. That is what principles is. So if somebody said something in the past and held somebody to a certain standard, and now the standard remains, but the situation has gotten worse, and that same person is so quiet, can you say that person is principled or not? That person has values or not? So we must take sides. I have taken a side to be on the side of those who are fighting Galamsey. I cannot remain neutral in the fight against Galamsey. No. Because if I remain neutral, that neutrality will kill me, because that neutrality will culminate into stupidity and it will kill me. Taflache. So you must take a side. We must all begin to take a side that is in the interest of our nation, Ghana, a side. So when people say, oh, you have to be neutral, I say you have to be neutral in terms of what? You have seen somebody being slapped, somebody being arrested for demonstrating that Galamsey should stop, and somebody being kept for 2 weeks, 3 weeks as punishment. And you say, oh, you must be neutral. You must be neutral about what? What exactly are you being neutral about? You cannot be neutral when you see that somebody is being oppressed clearly. You cannot be neutral. You cannot be neutral. The moment you go into that level of neutrality, you have lost touch. Put the president's tweet up for me. Our president, he has not spoken to us. Our president, he has not understood maybe what's happening. Our president, he has not read the mood of the nation. Our president, our listening president, he doesn't speak to us. He speaks to foreign press. Our president, he doesn't have time for us. But look at what he tweeted in February of 2016, 29th February, 11:20 a.m. He says, it appears we have a president who is out of touch with the country he's governing. Nanado said this. He said this to John Mahama, that it appears we have a president who is out of touch with the country he's governing. Is our president in touch with the country he's governing? I remember when the the e-levy thing came up, he said they were what? He used something vituperation, some big English. Sometimes our president who begged us to come and govern us, he speaks to us in French proverbs. When he was looking for power, he said, when he got power, he started speaking to us in French proverbs. L'argent n'est pas le bruit. Our president. This was what he tweeted in 2016. So call him to the center and ask him, Mr. President, have you lost touch with the country you are governing? Somebody must remind him. Maybe he has forgotten. Maybe he has checked out, as he said that the next leader will come and fix our problem. Maybe he has checked out. But somebody needs to call the president and ask him, Mr. President, are you still in touch with the government? The people you are governing. Are you still in touch, Mr. President? Are you still in touch? Somebody must ask the president this very simple question. And does he hear the things that we say on this platform, backed by evidence, backed by documentation? Does he hear them? That your chief of staff will write to Dr. Bonaventure Benedict Alegibam of ICO and tell him not to hold himself anymore as the managing director of ICO. And the man still stays in office and locks the door and keeps the key and doesn't hand over. Are you still in touch? When I tell you that the nation is on autopilot, you say no. Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana has written to a member of the MPP who has been appointed as ICO boss. He has appeared before Public Accounts Committee. The HR at ICO has written to him. Regional Minister has told him, who is board chairman of ICO. The sector minister, Brian Echampon, has written to him saying, you can't hold yourself anymore. About 8 separate letters from people mandated by the constitution to tell him that you cannot hold yourself in that position. He still is holding himself. You want me to believe that the president is in touch? The president is in charge and in touch? He is not in charge. The country is on autopilot. And this is a shining example of the autopilot. Nanado, who would have thought that Nanado would be the one supervising over such mess? Who would have thought? Who would have assumed that somebody is due for retirement? The person, controller has taken the person's name off. The company's IGF is what the person is chopping. And the person has even blocked people who are legitimately employed. He's blocked their salaries because he has to validate their salaries and he has not done it. To the high office of the president, the chief of staff writes on the 12th of September to say, boss, stop holding yourself. He still stays, even if he stayed on for one day, he still disregarded the president of the republic. And you want me to believe that Nanado is in charge? He is sleeping. Black Rasta says sleepy dent. He is sleeping. If he were not sleeping, this will not happen. Are you kidding me? In a small biscuit factory where I started work many, many years ago, this will not happen. Naresh Bipuri at Park and Shop, he will not allow, this will not happen. You who are supporting it, your small printing press and your small, eatery and your small, do you allow it? That you have told somebody that do not come here again. I don't want to see you again. And the person holds on to the office key and goes away and disregards you. Do you see the picture I'm painting to you? When the chief of staff writes to you, it's like the president has written to you to say, boss, live there. In fact, when the Greek minister writes to you, it's like the president has written to you, says, live there. In fact, when the regional minister who is board chairman of ICO writes to you, but he doesn't respect any of them. He even went to the Public Accounts Committee. Public Accounts Committee. I'll show you another example. When I tell you that the president is not, take me to Gihok. And when I say let the retirees go and let the young grow, you will understand. Gihok has a board. Gihok is an entity under a ministry. Gihok is also under SIGA. And Gihok is being run down. You who defend everything, if you had a private company and you were employing more people, don't come and tell me whether people Ghanaians or not. You were employing more people and you were not producing more and you were losing. would you still keep that manager there at post? I'm asking you. You run a small Yokegari business. Anytime you buy stock for the person, the thing goes, you can't make profit. Will you still be employing more people and be keeping the same manager? Or will you change the team and see how things will turn up? Georg has been run down. I'm told production is not going on. So take a look at this. This is 2024. Yesterday I showed you how many people we have employed and how we are not making profit and how we are comfortable. And yet the CEO, the MD, is taking all the perks. This is January 2024 sales and variance analysis. Georg, you read it yourself. Madingo bitters, 12 times 700 mls, the pack size. The January budget was 6,500. The actual that they sold in January because they couldn't produce enough was 503. Madingo bitters, 48, blah, 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 500. That was their target. They sold only 10. If you count now, some crowd, they did 0, 0, 0, 0. A pet down there, dry gin, 200. Their target was 200. They told 0. Takai is not even, you know, this is the company, this is January. I've not even come to February, come to March. If I come to September, you will weep. But he's still there, he's going around threatening people. And I've had these documents for some time. I just didn't want to go there, but when he went on radio to tell people that if you go out, and I tell you, the country is not being governed. The country is on autopilot. Kaneshi police station. Can I keep the picture? You keep the pictures flowing. I'll share some detail. Kaneshi police station. They know what I'm going to talk about. Over 500,000 cedis of Georg's money was taken by some people in the finance department, accounts department, procurement department, marketing department. They were arrested. Kaneshi police station. The case is there. 25th September. Over 500,000. They were granted bail that same night. Ask yourself where that 500,000 is being paid into. Is it being paid into a private account or is it being paid into a Georg account? On the Georg page, their staff page, and we are out there, we are everywhere. It says, with immediate effect, the following staff have been interdicted until further notice. There's Miss Sandra Mwako of the Finance Department, Mr. Bismarck T. Amponsa of the Finance Department, Miss Juliet Osei of the Marketing Department, Mr. Emmanuel Makati, Finance Department, Miss Alice Kumi Arthur, Finance Department, Miss Ellen Kusi Kankam, Finance Department, Miss Mavis Adumako Asamoah, Audit Department, Miss Mavis Yeboah, HR Department, Mr. Enes Ishan, Warehouse and Transport Department, Miss Sarah Edu, Procurement Department, Justice K. Dom, Warehouse and Transport. Iyoko, this is where Iyoko, you step in. I said there are rot happening at Georg. You have no idea. Georg is the only entity in this country that SNIT has taken them to court, GRA has taken them to court. They have even written to NIB to garnish their accounts. Ask yourself when they sell, where they take the thing. Look, there's a video, a picture of Georg. Suppliers, Georg is the entity that suppliers come and take their alcohol, their ethanol, they come and take it back because of incompetence. There's another chart from Georg, another table from Georg. Show me, please. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, they are in arrears. Deducted, their monies have been deducted, but they have not been paid. They are in arrears. Georg. If it were your private company, would you run it like that? Yes. There was a 150,000 cedis check that was signed for a certain funeral for somebody who was not even connected anywhere to Georg. I'll bring you that detail. As for the travels, when I tell you, you will puke. The travels, the side chicks travels, when I tell you about it, you will puke. And I'll show you the evidence and videos. The side chicks travels, you will puke. That is how the state enterprise that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah taught and visit. Aboso Glass Factory, is it running? The consultant that they wrote that check for, the 2 million. What is the 2 million for? Let's look at the document. And perhaps this will be our last one. Tier 1, Georg. And I want us to read together. Staff deductions outstanding. It was outstanding. This was in 2023. As of March 2023. Georg, SNIT, Tier 1, December 2022, January 2023, February 2023 is in arrears. If you go inside now, you see that they still owe some more. Tier 2, pension, check. Tier 3, pension, check. Unpaid employee benefits is there. Look at the amount. 3,933,046 Ghana cedis, 89 pesos as of the time this was generated. And I have plenty of these documents. Plenty of these documents, Gihok. It's in my palm like that. Plenty of these documents. And this is where you expect Iyoko to wake up and smell the coffee and go there and go and ask questions. Iyoko, good morning. Go there and ask questions. Because Katie Hammond can't fix the issue. There's a video, last video. There's a Gihok meeting video where the minister went there, assured them that everything will be okay. That was the time when Kofi Juma was on terminal leave. He was ill. And then they set up an IMC to manage the things. Things turned around. I'll show you that record. And then when he got back, he said, oh, minister, play the video.
We have a petition for the minister. So we want to find out if we can read out our petition. Petition to the Minister of Trade. We would like to bring to your notice some occurrences that is affecting workers at Gihok distilleries. Yes, please.
Please report them to me so that we can hear it.
Who is this situation for? Who are you submitting or giving it to?
Minister, we are hoping the ICU.
So, what person are you giving this to?
You.
Deputy Minister.
At this meeting, the minister assured them that everything will be okay. The man returned and said, oh, forget. Now, there are only 3 managers that work at Gihok. 3 managers. The rest, they have been made redundant. Procurement, marketing, MD. Finish. They're running a triangular game at Gihok. And this is where Zanzibar, the Mufasa, the Zanzibar king, will say, Mini Sanepo, ne? Mufasa, the Zanzibar king, like a Mini Sanepo, ya, no, ne? Please, good morning. Call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. Take a quick break. When we return from this break, I'm sure we can pick your calls on 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154.
Hey, Amma, so with all this skill you have in dressmaking